You like that transition?
I tried to follow the ball in the beginning of the trailer. It gave me a headache.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Ryan.
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm swell. How are you?
I'm living life 0 to 60, 9 to 5, 365 days a year. Chet, how's the north?
It's hot.
Great or white? Yeah, it's not hot. It's not hot. That's like when I say it's cold, you go, it's not cold.
He's right.
Yeah.
It's hot for us.
Gotcha. Oh, we'll take that.
I wish it was hotter, but it's hot for us.
Agnello, how are you, my friend?
Living the dream, sweetheart. Living the dream.
God, I love it.
So what is hot for you guys?
Well, it's hot for us because we've had a very unseasonably cool spring. So today it was the first day in the upper 80s.
I don't know why I let that just keep riding, but I felt like it.
And then restarted it?
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
That's nothing.
That's awesome, man.
I wish it was mid 90s right now. That'd be fantastic.
Oh no, it sucks.
Yeah, it's mid 90s right now with a feels
I would
like
take it.
the surface of the
No,
sun.
you won't. No, you won't.
That's okay.
Yes, I
Hey,
would. I
listen,
would take it.
I say right now that I would love when he tells me how cold it gets in Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, I would love that. Its grass is always greener. You know what I mean? Somewhere else, you're like, this is perfect. I would love this.
I would take the cold without the snow.
Yeah.
If I get that, I'm cool.
Everybody and their mother would take the cold without the snow.
I mean,
Not really.
some people like the hot, man. I mean, sometimes I'll walk out there and that heat is great, but after a while, man, I'm telling you.
I don't think it's the heat. It's more like the sun feeling like you're, when you remember the magnifying glass you used to put on an ant when you were a kid?
And the sun emits what?
The UV rays, but it feels like the sun is like
Thank
the
you,
magnifying
Ryan.
Listen,
glass.
I walked in the house the other day. My wife looked at me and she goes, I don't know how you work outside all day. I could never do it. I love you.
I thought you were going to say
a
she
better
was
man
like,
than me.
I thought she was
I'm
going to
like-
give you the Robin Hood Men in Tights. You're black?
No, she's
Have you been black the whole time?
the whole time. I think
Uh,
she's racist. But
I mean, from experiencing both sides of the weather spectrum yearly, I mean, I can tell you what I prefer.
Sure.
I'm not telling you what's better for you guys, but personally, having experienced, a heat index of 114 and a wind chill of negative 55, I would take the heat over the cold all day.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, one day, maybe when the nuclear winter happens, we'll all experience it. We go like, you know what? Rhino was right. This sucks.
Damn, Rhino was right the whole time.
Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? It's episode 194 on our merry way to 200. We're a month away-ish, probably a lot less than a month or more than a month from the Fantastic Four. We have Ironheart getting ready to have a 3-episode premiere on Disney Plus, which, by the way, more information for you guys. I'll be doing a bit of a feed drop or a swap. I'll be going on another show to discuss episode 1 of Ironheart. So
What other
I'll
show?
keep everyone posted. Hold on. Got it. What other show? Didn't that
There's-
just
He
sound
got real upset there for a second.
No,
What
no.
other show?
You keep he dropped this news in our Discord chat now, and he's like, "Well, what show is it?" And
It's
I thought
called
maybe-
the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I don't know when that's going to air, but I'll feed drop it so everybody can give it the old watcheroo if you want. They use StreamYard just like us, so it'll be a somewhat familiar platform, but new faces. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't want to talk about DC or MCU today. I want to talk about DCU because a couple of things have happened. I don't know why. Maybe the algorithm got tickled just the right fancy. That James Gunn has had 2 big things to say about arguably the 2 biggest superheroes under his belt, being Superman and Batman. I want to start off with a quote about Superman that made me pretty happy, to be honest with you, when it came to James Gunn's comment. Now, this is taking out of context of just an interview that he did. I forget the source of the interview. I want to say it was IGN, maybe. I don't know, but either way, it's on our Facebook group if you want to take a look at the quote itself. The question was, what are some of the things you felt you needed to explain to make this Superman work? And here's a quote from James Gunn. These are things that I know I don't explain, that I don't even want to say out loud, but I wanted Superman to be vulnerable. I see the online things. Who would beat whom? This is a major director making the movies that we love, having a commentary on this. So I thought this was pretty good. Who would beat whom? Because everybody loves this conversation. My kids love to come to me and go, Dad, if Deadpool was wearing size 7 shoes and then Wolverine threw a meteor at him, would he still poop his pants? Like, I don't fucking know. Anyway, Homelander or Superman or fucking whatever, Adam Warlock or Brightburn. And I'm like, this is the fucking stupidest fucking conversation. By the way, this is a quote from James Gunn. This is the fucking stupidest fucking conversation. Like, so then whatever would win this fight means that they're the best, because I'll just go out and write God-Man who could destroy you with a wink, and I win all the fights forever. But I didn't want a Superman who could punch planets. And also, we're creating a whole universe now. So that's a girl with wings who's going to do in the face of what's a girl with wings going to do in the face of that. So he's a little less powerful. Green Lantern Guy Gardner's pretty fucking powerful. They're all pretty powerful. Honestly, in talking to people, a lot of people are like, I like Batman better because he can actually be beat. And I get that. So we have a Superman that can be beat. Thank God. I just resonated with that comment so much.
Can we get a clap for
and that's
James?
we can get a clap for James. There it is. There it is. Not a Google music. But I felt a big sense of comfort in the Superman and the DCU and the way he's going to do things with a comment like that. That tells me intimately that the guy running the show gets it and understands what is going to make a good and compelling story. I also saw an interview with him and Superman talking about how long they discussed the Superman trunks and how they just look silly. And it was one of those things that, yeah, it does look a little bit ridiculous. And he said he talked to Zack Snyder and they talked for hours and hours on what kind of trunks he should wear, if the trunks work, if they don't work. At the end of the day, he said, you know what? Superman knows the trunks look silly. And that's why he wears them, because he's meant to be somebody who inspires hope and somebody that children can look up to and see him and identify with him looking like a superhero and having his underwear trunks on the outside of his suit, and that kind of being an endearing thing for Superman. And I thought, damn,
I liked Quail Man too. So,
I mean, I thought, what a great way they are approaching this hero. Because everybody in this universe knows he's an alien from outer space. They don't think he's just some guy who can do the things they can't. And that Superman is really going to be that symbol of hope that the DCU is absolutely going to need. And I officially say this, I'm very hyped for the Superman movie, knowing that this is the vision and that's the guy that's driving the entire narrative of the DCU. I think that he is going to put people, even at Marvel, on notice that say, hey, it makes a difference when your creators are invested in your story and know it and love it. And they were also asking him about why he has so many people. He's like, I grew up watching Super Friends. And, the world was always populated with these super people, and you have to make room for that. And that brought me straight to Marvel and all the times we've sat here on the show and asked that question. Where was Iron Man when this was happening? Where was Thor? Why are these heroes not showing up in these clearly global threats? You know what I mean? And I think James Gunn gets it. So I want to toss this quote. I know it was a big bundle of things to talk about, and I've got another one for Batman. So give me time. If we got anything on Batman, let's save that for the Batman conversation. But I just wanted to toss that to you guys and see what your opinion when you hear James Gunn say that about Superman specifically. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Honestly, so this is kind of funny. After I saw the trailer and I saw Superman trying to hold up the building, he's like struggling. And I'm like, oh, they're going to do that, right? Where he's not that strong, although we all know he's super strong and could easily push the building over.
Sure.
They're going to intentionally kind of cripple him to make him seem more like likable, like more relatable.
Vulnerable.
I don't like that. It's just like when they dulled down the Hulk. Superman for my entire life has been Superman. He's faster than a speeding bullet. He's this, he's that. Like, what Superman is.
He still will be. He still will be.
But to have him like struggle and do...
Well,
like, I get you're trying to make him more human, but he's an alien, right? Like, he's essentially a god. Like you said, he is God. Why is this guy who's a god trying to be vulnerable, trying to be like a fit in like everybody else when he's not. He's clearly not, and that's just weird to me. I don't know. It's one of those things where they said if I had Superman's powers, I'd probably be a villain.
And
right?
I respect your opinion on this. My only thing would say I would beware of making wholesale thoughts on an entire product on a 3-second trailer. That's all I would say. I'm sure he does show all those things at some point, but you might be right.
Well, there's another thing about Superman 2, and this is widely used in the comics, is the fact that Superman holds back a lot of the times. And I think there's going to be an element of him holding back in this movie where he does not show what he is truly capable of showing until he absolutely needs to show it. There's also an element of he may not be aware of what he's truly capable yet, because I believe there was a story that dropped that he is going to have been Superman for, I believe, 2 or 3 years prior to the events of this movie happening. So he may not fully understand the entire extent of his power yet, and it's not going to, he's not going to come to that realization until something pushes him in that direction and pushes him to what his limits truly are. So if I saw, a 3-second clip of him struggling to hold the building, I'm not going to put too much thought into that, because it could be a Superman that may not really know what he's truly capable of. But as far as the comments are concerned and what James Gunn is trying to accomplish with the Superman, the one thing that I truly like, what is the one conversation we've always had with Superman? He's unstoppable. He's unbeatable. He's godlike. I mean, even you just said he's godlike. And the one thing that I think James Gunn is really going for is showing the humanity of Superman. Yeah, I know he's an alien, but he's going to put on the humanity side. He's going to display that side of Superman in this movie, and I think that's crucial in building a fan base. I understand that. I said that he's an alien, but he was still born and raised on planet Earth.
And that was one of the comments made by James Gunn too, is that's one of his biggest driving factors is his love for humanity. So anyway, go ahead, Reno.
I think that he's going to display a human aspect to Superman, which he does have. He may not physically or biologically be human, but in terms of the culture that he lives in and all of the things he practices in his daily life, there is a level of humanity to Superman. And I think we're going to see a lot of that, maybe even more so than we saw with Henry Cavill in the trilogy beforehand.
I think it's going to be better than Henry Cavill, but anyway, go to
I believe that James Gunn will make Superman into what we need, because we already got an all-powerful being in Sentry, and we hated it.
That's not fair to say either for anybody at the table, because I loved the way they did it, and I think that them putting the crutch on him to have a different side where he's not always Mr. Killable or Mr. Most powerful in the universe all the time. I think Marvel did a masterful job when it came to Sentry. But
where did they show the weakness in Sentry? Even in that fight scene in Thunderbolts where they're
Void.
Yeah, the Void.
But the Void wasn't. It was the villain, right? It was the depression on the
Void is Sentry.
So that's his only weakness, is his depression.
That's
a pretty big weakness.
It's also a massive oversimplification. Whereas
his mental health is his weakness.
His mental health and his instability,
his emotional emotional state is his weakness.
But it's not just.
But that's
let me make my point.
Right.
It manifests itself physically in the form of the Void, almost like a multiple personality scenario. So the person who's driving and is in control, i.e. Sentry, Bob, is now no longer in control. And this physical manifestation of his mental state in the Void is what takes over and is a completely separate entity. That is a big thing to contest with when you have your Superman. When Superman is still in the super body and he's no longer driving, that's a hell of a villain. And that's something that somebody with those superpowers, i.e. Bob, takes a drastic measure to not allow that sort of thing to happen, because where there is incredible opportunity for good and salvation, there's also incredible opportunity for evil and destruction. Therefore, he's playing the pacifist role of, I'm not going to go this way if I don't have to. If I
it also presents the opportunity to where when time presents itself, when the opportunity presents itself, then he can come forward and whoop wholesale ass, and then it'll be worth the wait.
But then you also know that it's kind of a damning situation, because when Sentry comes out, everybody's going to be holding their breath like, okay, it's great that he's here. When is this turn left for everybody? You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
the instability of his emotional state is too
right.
Too much of a
and
wild card.
when it manifests itself in as equally evil a way as his good self manifests the good self, that's something to definitely be afraid of.
But isn't that a fresh take on the invulnerability aspect of it? Like that's when you sent that that quote over, I'm like, okay, maybe I can get behind this Superman for the simple fact of he's not all powerful, at least not
and
yet.
That's the thing too, is
if
like
Rhino's
it makes for a boring movie. It makes for a really boring movie if your Superman is what he is in the comics, because then any problem that shows itself, he uses that invulnerability, that super speed, that super, steel strength to, okay, you're the problem, bang, 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 done, problem solved.
There really is no problem when you have something like that.
Exactly. So I think I like the idea of where Rhino came from. I heard the timeline 6 months, that maybe he's been with Lois for 6 months, 2 years as Superman. I don't know the actual timeline, but I know he's a brand new Superman. So I think that could be an excellent way to warm up to a Superman. Like a kid in high school is not going to be as strong as when he's an actual adult. So maybe we're just not there yet with Superman, and maybe there's an opportunity for it down the road. I still think a underpowered Superman is the better way to go in terms of telling a story.
But I still feel it feels like it's
go ahead.
Though, almost like we're just, you guys know that Superman he's the man, he's invulnerable, he can't be beaten, but we're gonna make him this just so you'll watch this movie.
Well, who are you pandering to?
I feel
that's not the case though.
Everybody who's talking like saying that, what do we need another Superman for? You know what I mean? Like me personally, like as much as I don't care for Superman, at the same time, if you're gonna give me Superman, give me Superman. Don't give me the.
He doesn't want to watch Superman.
I'm not trying to watch Smallville all over again. You know what I mean? On screen, like I don't need to see like the progression of Superman to be where he's going to end up eventually being where he's like omnipotent. Like I don't need that.
So listen, you're to curb any kind of expectations on both sides of this debate here. We are going to get Superman. We're going to get what he is in the comics eventually. It may not be in this movie. It may not be the next time he's on the big screen, but eventually at some point in the DCU, we're going to get the all-powerful Superman. We're going to get the dude that is invincible, that is unbeatable. It's the fact that we're along for the journey and along for his struggle to get there is what makes this interesting. It's what makes it a watchable movie, in my personal opinion.
I was going to say,
watching him struggle, watching him work up to where he finally reaches his limits and then shatters through them. That to me is something that we didn't get with Henry Cavill, because in the Henry Cavill Superman, he was Superman and just immediately started going into whooping ass with General Zod and those guys. Even with Return of Superman, and I can't remember what his name was. What was that guy's name that played Superman in that movie like 20 years ago?
Return of Superman, Brandon Routh.
Yeah, even him. I mean, there was no journey with that movie. It was just him coming back, and all of a sudden he's Superman. So at least with the James Gunn iteration of Superman, we're going to be on a journey with him. We're going to see character development. We're going to see both Clark Kent and Superman turn into something else. So that's why I'm excited about it.
Well, there's only one Superman, and that's Dean Cain, by the way. I'm going to ask everybody know.
I'm going to ask one hypothetical here, if I may, to Ryan. Mm-hmm. So let's say we get the Superman of your ideal. Ryan, you're directing. Superman's going to be how you envision him. Who is going to be your antagonist to make it a meaningful movie that goes ideally 2 hours? So who are your lists of antagonists? I'll give you Doomsday. He's somebody that could go 2 hours in a Superman movie. Who else?
Honestly, that's how I probably started with Doomsday.
You need Lex Luthor, and you need to do that right. If you don't have Lex, and if you don't do Lex right, then Superman becomes like, what's the point? Bad Lex Luthor is a bad Superman movie. I don't give a shit what you say.
Listen, that's one of my other gripes with Superman. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, no shade, but man, you talking about a bald-headed human is my anti-hero. Like the guy I gotta fight. I
mean, Jeff Bezos is real.
Well, hold on. This is where I feel that I disagree with you. I would rather see a Lex Luthor for 2.5 hours than a Doomsday, because if you have Doomsday, This is a knockdown drag out. We know what we got.
They're just going to keep trading blows.
Superman deals in morality more so than any other superhero, arguably than maybe Captain America. And I think Superman does it more so than Captain America does.
I think the only one that's comparable is Spider-Man.
That's another really, really good one. But Superman dealing in that morality and him being this godlike human, that's the problem. If he goes in and smashes Lex, he's a villain instantly. He's going to put fear in the eyes and hearts of everybody on the planet he's trying to protect. The moment a human is doing what Lex is doing and he flicks the eyeball out of the back of his brain or something.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just, you have to have that moral conundrum. Otherwise, he's not a hero. And we can't
we see that too.
And we can't ground any of this in reality because it's already silly.
Because honestly, Lex Luthor is a human. He could just go like in 20 seconds, Lex, you're done. Just
that's what makes him annoying. That's what makes him so good and villainous, is because his reach is arguably bigger than Superman's. Because if Lex sets off 2 bombs in 2 different places at 2 different times and Superman has no way to prove it, you know what I mean? So that's why Superman kind of has to tote the line with Lex. But anyway, I digress. I still think I'm very excited. You guys know how I feel about a underpowered Superman. I want him to be the guy who wins. I do think Superman needs to be your most powerful entity in your DCU, period. There should be nobody who can hang with Superman at the end of the movie, toe-to-toe. Superman should be your guy. He's your franchise player for DC. That brings me to the most popular member of maybe comics, period, that being Batman. Now, we've all kind of said, what are we going to do about Pattinson? What are we going to do? We're going to bring in a brand new Batman. And this was another interview with James Gunn from Variety magazine. James Gunn talking about Batman says, Batman is my biggest issue in all of DC right now. Batman has to have a reason for existing, right? So Batman can't just be, oh, we're making a Batman movie because Batman's the biggest character in all of Warner Brothers, which he is. But because there's a need for him in the DCU and a need that's not exactly the same as Matt Reeves' Batman, but yet he's not a campy Batman, I'm not interested in that. So he's not interested in the campy Batman. He doesn't want a Batman that's going to sit behind the screen and go, all right, Barry, now I need you to get over to Gotham City. And you know what I mean? He doesn't want that. He wants an actively involved Batman is what I take from that comment. And then he says, I'm not really interested in a funny, campy Batman, really, so we're dealing with that. He told Rolling Stone, every single Batman story has been told. It seems like half the comics that have come out of DC over the past 30 years have Batman in them. He's the most famous superhero in the world. This is coming from a guy representing DC, so I get why he says that. He's the most famous superhero in the world and the most popular superhero in the world, and people love him because he's interesting, but also having so much of him out there can also make him boring. So how do you create that property that's fun to watch? God damn, it's like he's listening to the show, although I know he's been a huge fan of, DC and WB for a really, really long time, but that is such a good thing to hear. Yes, Batman is fucking boring. So why do you want him to be in your show or your movie and just be the guy who funds everything? That's not Batman. That's Alfred. Although Alfred doesn't fund shit, but you get what I'm saying, right? He's not going to serve the superhero purpose. So there's a place of, where does Batman exist? Why does Batman exist? And when any threat outside of Gotham City shows up, why does Batman care? What do we think about those comments from James Gunn? Ryan?
I mean, I don't know. I guess each their own. I would like a Batman. I'd prefer a Batman over the Superman.
I'm saving Rhino for last because I know he's got a heated conversation about this. I'm going to just tell. But I mean, you're the biggest DC guy in the room, I would imagine.
Oh, 100%.
Nello, what's your comment
about what?
About Batman? The whole thing I just said.
Hello, no.
McFly.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. When we start talking about Batman, I agree. Like, have we not seen everything? Do we I understand he's a critical part in the whole DC universe and all that stuff, but I'm kind of, I don't mind if Batman takes a a secondary role, and maybe we develop some of these other characters, because we've seen DC hit this Batman field and this Batman play over and over and over and over again, but we haven't seen a good, not good, but we didn't see an amazing Superman. We didn't see an amazing Wonder Woman. We saw a good Wonder Woman, the first movie, and then the rest, forget about it.
I mean, arguably,
Like Flash,
statistically,
you get what I'm saying?
Has anybody had more solo movies than Batman? Any
Superman might be close.
No, Superman's nowhere near close.
I think the closest is probably going to be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man would be the only guy I could say. He's got 2
because he's had 4 with the MCU. He had 2 with Andrew Garfield. And he had 3 with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
So I thought we were talking about DC only.
No. I said of all superheroes. Yeah, I think Batman's got the most. If it's not, it is Spider-Man, but that's only because of Tom Holland. And I'm talking starring Tom Holland. So Civil War doesn't count.
What if we go like I don't know, maybe I'm not giving these secondary characters in Justice League, like Martian Hunter and all this stuff, like a pivotal role or their own movies, but give me something else. I don't need a Batman movie right away, is what I'm saying.
Right.
You could give me that one last. Let Batman talk. Give me Martian Hunter. Give me Aquaman done correctly, which I know you like Momoa's bull BS, but I don't agree with that. Wonder Woman. Give me that. Give me a foundation of these guys, and then throw in that little pepper of Batman as they tie everything together.
Honestly, I'm going to disagree with you in a sense that I don't think we need a Justice League.
That's what I was just about to say. I don't need a Justice League.
I don't need.
I don't want one for a while.
Doing Super Friends shit. I want these people to kind of run together organically. I would much rather see like a Flash and Superman team up movie. There should be no necessity for a Justice League unless we get Dark Superman or not Apocalypse. Oh my God, Doomsday. Darkseid. Yeah. We get Darkseid or Doomsday. We shouldn't need the S tier to show up and help.
And as far as going to Batman, I think I would like to see different iterations of a Batman. Like I said, maybe a Batman who laughs, or give me like even a Batman and Robin, bro. We haven't had a good one in forever.
We haven't had a good Robin since
we've only had one good. We've only had one Batman and Robin period, and that was with what's his name, with George Clooney,
Chris O'Donnell,
And I will say it till I'm blue in the face. I want to see the Red Hood on screen.
You don't consider the Christopher Nolan guy Robin-ish?
No.
He never really became Robin in the movies.
No, he didn't put on the casp and the cowl or the cape and the cowl. He ain't Robin.
Okay.
So I would love to see a Damian Wayne. That's what I would love to see.
I want to see Damian Wayne before I see anybody else. But as far as Batman is concerned, like you said, I don't want to see a Justice League for a while. I don't want to see a Batman movie for a while.
That's what
I think that Batman has been overdone. I mean, the fact that we have simultaneous Batman universes going on at the same time isn't a good recipe for success for the DCU. I think the best way to go about Batman right now is to have him make meaningful appearances in other people's movies. So give us a Flash movie where Batman has a significant role. Give us a Wonder Woman movie. Give us a Martian Manhunter movie where Batman has pivotal roles, and then maybe pump the brakes on him a little bit when we get to that Justice League point. And I think if the DCU is going to be successful for the long term, if they're going to try and actually compete with the MCU, they have to do it almost in the exact same way with the phases. So you know how phase 1 eventually built up to Thanos after 6, 7, 8 movies, and then phase 2 eventually built up. I mean, they have to do it that way. Give us a solid 6 or 7 movies worth of build up before you give us a galactic threat like a Darkseid or a Doomsday or something along those lines. And when that happens, have Batman take a little bit more of a back seat where he's the pilot, he's the guy in the chair, he's the here's some tech, use this. But I don't want to see Batman be a leading character for a while. I mean, I'm talking years in the DCU.
I couldn't agree more. And I would like to see them do what my vision or what I thought was going to happen with the MCU, where you have the space division, the intergalactic division, then you have the street level guys. Batman is perfect as a street level guy. His rogues galleries of movies you could put together, and then eventually it's just like you said, let's have, King Shark swimming in there and start fighting Killer Croc, and then Batman and Aquaman have to team up to do something to fix it. That's just a hypothetical.
I understand that I want Batman to take a lesser role, but I don't want him to become Q like in 007 where he's just a lab nerd. He's like, oh, check out this Kevlar vest that can bounce off of. I don't need that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Batman needs to take names, kick ass, and kill nobody.
Right. Which is why his absence is paramount. I think they should just let Matt Reeves sit there and cook his Gotham City universe.
Is that still happening? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
Is there ever been an iteration of Batman where he actually just kills people?
Thomas Wayne in Flashback, not Flashback.
Give me that one.
Yeah.
Something we haven't seen. Give me that one.
Flashpoint. So in Flashpoint, he meets Thomas Wayne, and Thomas is the Batman because Bruce and Martha are murdered instead of him, and he takes up the Batman cowl, and instead of
John Wick's it with
instead of allowing criminals to survive, he kills them.
He's a lot less of a martial arts expert, but he uses weapons. So he carries a 9mm with him. He'll use automatic rifles and automatic SMGs, stuff like that. But he has no qualms about killing anyone. He'll kill anybody.
Right.
I'd love to see it. Honestly, I would.
If there's anybody who could be a guy in the chair or needs to be a guy in the chair, I'd love to recast Cyborg.
Yeah, we'll see Cyborg. It's inevitable if they're gonna do the Justice League properly. We'll see Cyborg. We'll see a Batman. We'll see an Aquaman.
Why can't we create a new Justice League?
Why? But why?
They should just
no, not like a new Justice League, like a new, maybe call it, I don't know, Super Friend, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
But you got to remember, at the end of the day, like I get your like fresh idea thing, but at the end of the day, these are still adaptations of stories that have already existed.
Why do we need stories that have already existed?
Not to mention, Justice League is a brand.
Because that's the base work for what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they're gonna do that, I would rather just have brand new characters at that point. I don't want to see Batman playing in a story that has never existed before. I would just make a new dude, make a new hero.
Here's an interesting one that I think they could use for Batman to have him be meaningful and show him still have some power. I forget the name of the run. Help me out if anybody knows what it is. But there's a instance where Batman is attacked in the Batcave, incapacitated, and the villains find his contingency plan for all these metahumans and superheroes, and they enact it, effectively almost killing the entire Justice League. And then Batman has to go through and save them from his own contingency plan. Now that is a hell of a way to introduce Batman to more powerful people, because then that shows the intellectual level that he's sitting on, and that shows his value, because there's not a single member of the Justice League other than Barry, if he doesn't know what's coming, that can beat Batman hand to hand. Well, he could probably beat Green Lantern too, but the Lantern powers
Tower of Babel,
maybe.
Batman, so that plans neutralize the Justice League members are stolen and altered by Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah,
there you go.
So that's that premise has been used a couple different times. Like Reverse Flash also used that, where he stole Batman's contingency plans and tried to kill all of the Justice League. So it's been done a couple times, and usually when it's done, it's done really well, because it does show how intelligent Batman is, and it shows that he's at times not just a man. He is capable of beating these superior beings. But
that's what makes me like it so much, is because at the end of that, Superman comes to Batman and he's like, hey, what the fuck, man?
But see, that's why I hate Batman so much. Well, then I can't stand Batman for that very reason, because what's the point of having all of these superheroes if a man can kill every single one of them?
Well, I think that's where they show Batman being a cut above everybody else. I, on the other hand, love that, because Batman look at all and goes, oh, if you guys all think you're above reproach and have no reason to be brought to heel, then you're in a worse place than I thought you were. Because if you think you're above this, then you're out of your mind.
Is there a character in Marvel that can do that?
Do what?
Kill anybody he wants with prep time?
Do we have this as
Punisher.
an argument?
I don't know if any of this is actual. Like, I agree with. I totally understand what you're saying, and that is the classic. Well, Batman, if he has prep time, I would say his only equivalent is
Punisher.
Is no.
Well, no, I mean with prep time. I'm talking about somebody who could do
Tony
it with prep
Stark, hands down. It's Tony. Tony is the guy who could do all that. But I just think the reason that makes Batman so good is they had no idea it was coming. They didn't know what happened. They didn't know why they were getting beat, because Batman didn't have to show up and go, and now I bet you won't run into this trap here. Haha. It just happened to him organically because Batman thought ahead. Now, anytime these guys see the shit coming, it's not a problem. They stop it. That's why Batman does that with his little prep time thing. But anyway, I still think the verdict for me on Batman is I'm okay. Let him sit on the bench. Let him stay in Gotham.
So you asked the question about what villain you want to see for Superman. But I'm going to ask you the question: what villain would you like to see for Batman, if in a hypothetical situation?
Honestly, right now they already cast it. I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's talk about this on the other side of a break, shall we? Let's take a real quick break, and then we will jump into that question, and you can just start us off with that, okay? Be right back. All right, big guy, it's on you.
So, before the break, I asked a question, and I'm going to ask our fearless leader, Jack.
Yeah.
You asked us about Superman and what villain we would like to see.
Yes.
What is the villain you would like to see in this new Batman creation universe?
The easy answer for me is Joker, but I could wait on Joker a lot longer than I can wait on Batman. Press pause on Joker. I don't want to see him at all. I think he's the greatest villain in comics. I love him. I think he's dynamic. A lot of things to unpack with Joker. Would I love Joker? Yes. Is he an easy answer? Yes. Am I going to use him? Absolutely not. He's my ace in the hole. You save Joker for a way down the road. Bane is another one that I think about that I'm like, he's somebody that's good on the intellectual level, but he was just done by Tom Hardy. Bleh, it's kind of boring. I don't really want that. I want somebody, like I said, he just got cast.
What if they gave us like Bane that was actually Bane, like Bane is, you know what I mean? Like the genius with
that's the Tom Hardy that you got. That's Tom Hardy. Although they ruined that at the end, in my humble opinion, but that's neither here nor there.
They did make him a little weak at the end.
They made him a cuck at the end where he's like, yes, sweetie, what do you want me to do? I love you. Oh no, you figured out you could punch the little air holes on my mask. My only weakness. Fuck out of here. Clayface. I think Clayface is an excellent villain for Batman, especially because they're doing a Clayface only movie where it is going to be almost horror inspired. And he's a major, not major villain, but for Gotham, I think he's a major villain. He can pose as literally anybody. He has great strength. He can hide in plain sight as literally anyone. And there's, obviously Batman doesn't know that he's dealing with Clayface or how to deal with it until, way too late. So I think we could see the bodies pile up. I think we could see Batman get to a point of intellectual frustration of trying to find this Clayface and what's happening and just starting to make the connections where he would have to go out as Bruce Wayne as well as Batman to try to track down somebody like Clayface in a meaningful way.
I like the answer too. I also like, if you get the casting that they just did, I like where they're getting the inspiration from.
I don't want to see that dude. I want to see Clayface. I want to see a monster. I want them to say, you don't want your children to see Clayface in this movie. He's going to terrify them. That's what I want.
But I like
it. Go ahead.
Oh no, it was on me. Go ahead.
I was going to say I have a dream scenario for Batman.
Okay.
I doubt it happens. Odds of it happening are probably slim to none, but I would love to see if they go the Jason Todd route with Robin, right? We get a little bit of even if they did a full movie, we get a little bit of character development with Jason Todd, and we see that dynamic between him and Batman and the bond that they form together. And then I would love to see Red Hood be a villain that Batman has to face, because there's that element of this is my protege. This is the kid that I raised into adulthood. This is the man he is now. And I want to see that ultimatum that Red Hood gives Batman in the comics. You either kill Joker or you kill me. I'm not going to stop until one of those two things happens.
Right. And Batman finds a way for it to happen anyway. My question to you, if Red Hood, because I think that's an excellent way to go. because Red Hood obviously is highly trained. He's one of the best characters in DC, in my opinion. So would you be willing to see a Jason Todd transition into a Red Hood scenario without Joker?
Absolutely. We don't need Joker for a long time.
Well, how
we
do you
really
get
don't.
that without Joker? You can't have Red Hood without the Joker.
We can have a Red Hood develop before Joker's even in the picture, and then that's your story where Joker is involved in the like let's say you get a Batman and Robin team up, whether it be their own movie or whether it be cameos in other movies, right? So you have that character development there. You have him become because he does become the Red Hood without the Joker being involved. I mean, he becomes an adult. He becomes the Red Hood. He was I don't know if I'd even call him an anti-hero. He was just a dude that was kicking ass, right?
I thought
then you introduce.
Correct me if I'm wrong before we go off on the train and leave that alone.
Because the way
I thought Jason Todd was the Robin that gets captured and on video gets his brains beat in with a crowbar by Joker and then is placed into the Lazarus pit and resurrected as the Red Hood. Am I incorrect in that?
That's what I thought.
That's
too.
what I thought too. I thought
known.
the Joker beats the living shit out of him.
That's why I asked the Joker
motivation.
I may have explained myself incorrectly. I was explaining it to where you could do it in the movies without having to go through that process, and I probably worded it poorly.
Okay. So
what I'm saying is you could have a Red Hood, you could have a person become the Red Hood.
So you think the story of the Red Hood is not important enough to the character to where you need to do it 100%?
Well, I don't think you can. That's a gruesome story to really put on camera, especially with.
I'm gonna say you have to. To me, you have.
You can't have the Red Hood without.
You can have it go in a different direction. You could have. I mean, he could be murdered, right? If that's the direction you want to take it, he could be murdered and then he could be resurrected. Or you could do it in a sense where, like, let's say the Joker kills his parents, or the Joker kills his girlfriend, or the Joker kills somebody that's extremely close to him. And that's when he finally looks at Batman and says, are we going to keep fucking doing this? Or are you going to take care of this dude before he kills somebody else?
Yeah, that's the problem with every single Robin that's ever been. That's Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Timothy Drake. Every single one of them at some point is like, yo, dude, what are we doing? Why are we killing people? I think I like this idea of a Red Hood. I think he would be an excellent adversary if there was some way for Batman not to realize that it's Jason Todd or whomever that it is. I do, however, feel for the maturity of an audience and for the way movies are kind of so, I don't know, neutered anymore. I'd
soft
love to see him. You don't have to show crowbar hit cranium, but hearing a few resounding crunches and
maybe he doesn't have to die and be put in the Lazarus pit, but he needs to get the living shit beat out of him to where.
I mean, I'm okay with the origin story. If that's
still the Joker to get back at him.
Yeah.
If that's the direction they took it, I'd be all right with it, because that's the real origin story. I'm just saying you don't necessarily have to go that path to get there, because at the end of the day, the dynamic of that story is it's Batman against his number one villain and against his number one protege, the kid that he trained from childhood and turned into what he is now. That's the biggest dynamic of the story.
Yeah.
So whether you did it, go ahead.
I was gonna say.
What in the God's green earth?
Ryan, go.
Let me just finish this real quick, and then I'll let you go. So all I was gonna say is you don't necessarily have to go that path for the story to have an impact. But I would love to see it go that way. You don't have to go that way.
Sure.
I just think it has a more of a dynamic too when you have Batman who let Robin die. And he's like, I died because of Joker. And then he comes back, and now you got like this, oh, he died the last time I was here. Now I have to go and track this guy down.
Yeah, I like that. I died because you didn't act, because of your stupid code. And look, this guy's never going to kill anybody ever again. Why? Because he's dead. And you're going to have to kill me if you think it's ever going to stop. It's one of those, the lesson is bigger than the action, right?
Yeah.
I don't care about this criminal. I'll kill him, but you killing me will be you crossing a line you need to cross. And I like that mentality from a Red Hood. I like the volatility of it as well, because then you get a situation like we've had with Daredevil, where the city goes, this Red Hood guy's really not too bad. He is stopping crime and killing people. Maybe Batman could take a page out of his notebook, and Batman's sitting there doing the whole Batman shtick of, well, I can't kill people, but you can throw them off a second story, break a couple of different bones.
You can beat him into a coma.
Yeah, got it.
But you got to get him there, and then you let him stop.
But I still think that is a necessary thing to be told in a DCU from that area. And but also I got to say, I feel like Dick Grayson might be the greatest protege that Batman's ever had.
Is this like the most enthusiastic you've been over DC in a hot minute?
In a very long time.
Ever. I'd have to say ever. I can't. I've never heard you speak about DC like this. So this is definitely the most excited I've ever seen.
That's what I noticed today too. Is like
this is from the creative source that I know is producing this, and this is why for so long I haven't given a shit about the DC, because the people making it were making it for dollars and cents, not because they cared about the product they were putting on the screen.
But Zack Snyder is the best.
Good job with that.
Which, by the way, I think James Gunn just went to a Snyderverse thing and was like, "Can you guys shut the fuck up? I'm done with this."
Thank God. I'm so glad.
So he had an issue. Apparently, there's a Snyderverse like, I don't know if it's a Reddit page or what, but all of these people are calling for review bombing of Superman. And I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but it's pretty much along the lines of, "What? Shut the fuck up! Like, why? Yeah. We're all a family here. This is all the DC family."
But Zack Snyder is terrible.
I mean, his Rebel the Rebel Moon was terrible. Rated R version, rated PG 1.
Well,
2. It doesn't matter.
I am a Zack Snyder sympathist. I've always said that on the show. I think the biggest problem with Rebel Moon is the fact that he did that movie out of spite because it was supposed to be Star Wars. They said, "No, we don't want this story. We're not going to go in this direction." He still made the movie anyways, and it sucked. Had it been a Star Wars movie, it probably would have been significantly better. The story
sucks no matter where you're getting it from.
You add a Star Wars element to that story, it's a lot better.
It was Star Wars, just without the Star Wars name.
I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly, Nolo. This is somebody who's not as big a Star Wars fan as I am a Star Trek fan. I will say Zack Snyder did not make a Star Wars movie. His movie was about as Star Wars as the fucking Goonies. It's like saying, well, this movie has people and that movie has people, so that makes it the same thing. No.
It was Star Wars if you bought it off of wish.com.
It was Star Wars in the Korean $2 bin. You know what I'm saying? It ain't Star Wars.
Speaking of which, the Goonies turned 40 this year.
Hey, you guys.
That's a good one. Hey, you guys.
Back to Snyder, though. The difference between what we got out of Snyder and what we're going to get out of James Gunn is the fact that Warner Brothers is finally like, all right, fucking do your own thing. We will not have any say in it whatsoever. You are in complete control, and we will allow you to have your vision and no one else's. I think that's the biggest difference between what Snyder gave us and what James Gunn is about to give us, because we're going to get James Gunn's creative genius at 100.
Yeah, totally amplified and with a good character to start it off with. Like this to me is as important as it was when the Guardians came out and he made them a household name out of, this is not really much of a debate, nobody's. Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, they were in the DC, they were in the MC, in the Marvel universe, they were in the comics, but nobody cared. They were offshoot characters from just kind of a nowhere show, and James Gunn made them the face of the intergalactic style of the Avengers. I mean, what he can do with something as established as Superman, I shudder to think what it's going to be. I think it's going to be great.
Well, the thing too is James Gunn gave us the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he still had Kevin Feige over his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's about to give us Superman with no one over his shoulder.
Sure. And I mean, that doesn't say how much, that happened with Feige and James Gunn in regards to the creative side of it, because at the end of the day, all he had to do was mention Thanos and show the Power Stone. But I get exactly what you're saying. And I still think that James Gunn is going to deliver something fantastic. But, it's a lot of pressure for sure. There's a reason that they made him the head of the DCU.
So, all right. So say this movie does well and it goes great, and you are going to get more of the DCU. Who's next after Superman?
Well, so there's a Lanterns series going to be happening. I would like to see, if you're going to give me Superman, and we're looking at the all-important people of the DCU and who needs to be the next A-list player, I hate to say it, but it's got to be Wonder Woman. It's got to be, right? She's the
here's
most powerful member of the Justice League.
I have the list here. This is the list in order of what they're planning on releasing over the next couple of years.
And after this, please, absolutely. After this, we're going to go to our conspiracy theory. So right. Let's go with that first.
This is the upcoming schedule for the DCU. We get Superman July 11th. We get The Sandman season 2 July 3rd. We get Peacemaker season 2 August 22nd. Supergirl will be the next movie. That is June 26th of next year.
We really need Supergirl?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. After that, we get Clayface. We get the Dynamic Duo, which is the animated Robin origin movie. We get the Lantern TV series. The Brave and the Bold, which is apparently in development already.
And Brave and the Bold.
Yep. Creature Commando season 2. Then this is where things get interesting. We get The Authority, which is pretty big because that's going to be DC's equivalent to Guardians, in my opinion. We get another Swamp Thing, and then we get a Teen Titans movie.
Oh, we get a Swamp Thing? Oh,
yep. So Swamp Thing. And here's a couple more. There's a Bane Deathstroke movie apparently in development. There's a Wonder Woman movie, a Waller TV series, which I don't want anything to do with.
I'm actually into that. Watching Peacemaker, I'm into it.
Well, it depends on if it gets the James Gunn style spin to it. If it does, then sure. If it doesn't, then because I'm not a big fan of the woman that played her.
Here's another thing about James Gunn's DCU is that everything he does, animated and otherwise, is canon. It's happening.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. So all the stuff that happened in Creature Commandos is addressed in Peacemaker season 2, where that character from Creature Commandos, which is Rick Flag Sr., is after Peacemaker because of what happened in the events of I can't think of it. Suicide Squad. Thank you, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
So that's interesting. When you name all these names and all of these are going to come together, that's interesting.
There's one more name that I'm actually super excited about, and that's Booster Gold.
Okay.
There's a Booster Gold TV series coming out, and he's kind of like the DC equivalent of Nova, in terms of what he's capable of, what he does. But I'm pretty excited about that. But I mean, the point that I wanted to drive home about that slate that we're getting is a lot of it is either lesser known or even non-known entities, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one outside of hardcore DC fans can tell you who the Authority is.
True.
No one outside of hardcore DC fans can tell you who Booster Gold is.
I know who Booster Gold is, but that's a different.
So the fact that he's not wanting to take the traditional route and give us Iron Man, Thor, Captain America right off the bat is pretty intriguing.
He's also at a very good, unique position to be able to do that, where the MCU was at a different place in its origin. But I was going to say, to your point, I think when you look at the man running it, James Gunn, it's an absolute advantage to give him the nobodies. It makes all those people matter.
Yeah, I don't know. None of that. No, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying from a casual point of view,
I know.
None of that excites me. So, but I mean, if you're thinking about
Swamp Thing doesn't excite you?
Not really.
So scary. He's so scary.
Like, it's just one of those things. Like, we have DC, we have other names. Like, we got a terrible Flash movie, and then you're gonna make a Supergirl, but you're not gonna give me. Even if it's not Batman, you know what I mean? Like, Suicide Squad. I honestly kind of want to see a Deadshot movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to see that instead of something else.
Why? Why Deadshot?
I don't know.
Of all the people that you could have named, why Deadshot?
You know what? I'm actually on his side. Deadshot's a dope fucking character.
Not arguing that.
What's Will Smith gonna play Deadshot in a wheelchair?
Not arguing that. Why Deadshot?
Just because he's one of the things that just happened to remember from Suicide Squad.
Now, is this a point of view of an antagonist for the entirety of the movie? Because I'm down for that. You ain't gonna hurt you. I don't care.
I mean, it could be.
But also, there's a way you could introduce Batman right there. He's a Batman villain. He does branch out, but he is a Batman villain.
And I think it's somebody also, a lot of people, even if you don't know him, you can probably get behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
You attach a star to something, you get people to care about it.
Exactly. And
that Bane Deathstroke movie is a perfect time to introduce Batman into the DCU.
I'm also on the underdog team there. Go Slade, baby.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of those things being TV shows too. I mean,
it helps with the storytelling and the spackle and the big pieces of movie that are out there, because you can tell more in a series than you can with a movie.
Yeah, but how many people are watching DC movies?
Sure.
TV shows
Good point.
Now, but after the James Gunn is revitalizing, and a lot of people I talk to have the same sentiment that Jack, not sentiment, just like that excitement, that positivity behind DC that we don't have at MCU right now. I'm not gonna lie. I a lot of people I've talked to online on Discord, in chat rooms, on Reddit,
AOL.
Yeah, they all seem to be way more positive on DC and really low on MCU.
There's a reason for that, and these are just it's not a great time, man. This is like when we're looking at the areas of those two companies, in my opinion, and this is just a very broad comparison, but it's like Tom Brady going out. He's the greatest of all time, and he's going up against the young gun Mahomes, who's doing shit you ain't never seen before. It's easy to say, oh, well, I want to watch Mahomes. He's great. He's so good. He's so exciting. Yeah, Brady's been great for a decade. It's time for him to retire and take a break. Not that I feel like the MCU is going to be there, but at this point,
they're definitely trending down.
has done so much that people have expectations, and people.
Hey, can I give a bold prediction before Nello goes into his conspiracy hour?
Sure.
The Fantastic Four is going to remind everybody why the MCU is number one.
Jesus.
God.
Listen, I'm excited for Superman. I'm as excited for Superman as anybody. I do enjoy the DC. Superman's one of my favorite characters of all time, but the Fantastic Four, it's going to be one of those moments like, you didn't think I was sleeping, did you?
I think on an actor wise, I'll take Pedro Pascal, but I think story wise, I'm in my opinion, from the two trailers, I'm more hyped from Spider-Man. From Superman than I am Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four all the way.
I don't know. I think that Superman trailer is more gripping than that Fantastic Four one.
I'm very biased. I don't care what anybody thinks. You're giving me a quality Fantastic Four. I'll buy the front row seat, and I'll buy the next two next to me, so nobody gets to sit next to me.
I also think the Silver Surfer looks like doo-doo, if that's what it looks like from the trailer. Just saying.
Listen, knowing the MCU, they're not showing us what the Silver Surfer is actually going to look like until we see it on the big screen. They do this. They play shadow games all the time.
It's also 100% confirmed that it's not Norrin Rad, our Silver Surfer, which is fun.
So then it's not Silver Surfer.
It is.
Right,
so it is. It's a variant.
What does that mean?
No, Ryan, please.
Okay, hold on.
Only Silver Surfer.
I'm just going to our resident African American man here, and I'm just getting his opinion.
Rad. So I don't know nobody.
Okay,
else.
Hold on. Let's press pause, shall we? Real quick.
Click.
So let's go back to that conversation. That's like, let's take our Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes takes the field, and you go, that's not Tom Brady. What the fuck? They're two different people that do the same fucking thing. Of course it's not the Silver Surfer you're used to. It's not Norrin Rad. It's another species like him who also has the cosmic surfboard.
Hashtag not my Silver Surfer.
Okay, that's fine. Hashtag the movie doesn't take place in your universe, so hashtag that's okay.
Yeah, guys, it wouldn't make sense if this is Norrin Rad, because this isn't the normal continuity universe. It's a different universe.
What universe or continuity it is, but it's still not Al Silver Surfer.
God damn it, I'm tired of this shit.
Go.
I ain't got an Adam Warlock when I was supposed to get Adam Warlock. I got to deal with this Silver Surfer from a different universe. I don't like it, MCU. I don't like it.
And she's not going to be the permanent Silver Surfer going forward too. They've already said that.
I think we see Silver Surfer at the end of the Fantastic. I think we see Norrin Rad. I think they escape her and show up, and Norrin's like, "Hi, you're here to die, by the way."
So I'm gonna go a slightly different route with that. I think Galactus finds his way to our universe.
Sure.
So I think at the end of Fantastic Four, we obviously see what happens with the ship, and we see what happens with the Fantastic Four.
Sure. Yeah,
I think we see Galactus in another part of the universe, and I think he stumbles upon Norrin Rad, and he's probably like, "Hey, I need a new Herald. Why don't you come join me?
I don't think he says I need a new herald one to come join me. He goes, hey, the last person I got from this planet was great. So what I'm going to do is kill everything you've ever cared about or loved, or you can be my herald. And Norrin will go, yeah, let me go get my board, bro. So anyway, as we play us out, what does that mean to play us out? Sorry.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Nello, let's hear the conspiracy.
Okay, so Chinese scientists bring back a bacteria that is not only radiation resistant, it breaks down gelatinous glutens differently and can live in harsh environments. My question to you, Chinese scientists, why the fuck are you bringing it to planet Earth? It can't be killed.
What do you mean it can't be killed?
It can't. There's nothing can kill it. It survives radiation and lives in some of the harshest places, and it just thrives.
Well, there's actually a possibility that it could die once it's out of radiation too. So I mean, we don't really know.
Radiation. We get radiation every day when we go outside, get UV light.
Not nearly the amounts that you would in space, though.
All I'm saying is, if it can survive radiation in space, it can survive anything we can throw at it here.
Just low levels of gamma. That's not harmful.
I'll become the Hulk.
Why would we bring it to planet Earth? Why?
I
just want to know.
There's bacteria that could survive in sulfuric acid.
People are stupid.
Right, but radiation, no food, no air, no nothing. I'm talking about surviving in
before
space.
Before we go, where's the source on this?
Oh, Sky News.
Screen Rant.
Bro.
No, Sky News.
I'm out.
Sky News.
Sky News is a credible thing.
Who wrote it?
Jeez.
John Bon Jovi.
It's all over the place.
Chet McMichael.
He just closed out of the chat.
Oh shit! I did close out. God damn it!
Anyway,
I didn't mean to do that.
That's been us for the Alter Ego podcast. Jack, Ryan, Rhino,
and Failure McGee.
We'll see you next time.
Later.